All right, now that we've learned about Hinduism, we're going to take a look at Buddhism so that you can compare and contrast both religions. Buddhism is the majority religion in these countries: Cambodia, Thailand, Burma, which is now current day called Myanmar, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Laos, and Mongolia. It's also widely practiced in China and Japan. It originated in Northeast India, which in comparison to Hinduism was originated in Northwest India. It was founded by Siddhartha Gautama. He was a prince of a small kingdom in what is now modern-day Nepal. Gautama was born in 563. He later became known as Buddha. So the statues you see on this slide are depictions of him as Buddha. He was raised in luxury, but he wanted to know more about the world. So at the age of 29, he set out to find a way to be released from the cycles of reincarnation. And we'll get into that, what reincarnation is, in just a moment. Buddhism is the world's fourth most practiced religion. So Hinduism is the third, Buddhism is the fourth. Much like our slides on Hinduism, I have an interactive map for you guys to see how Hinduism is dispersed throughout the world and what the numbers look like for each country. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the Eightfold Path. Buddhists believe that life is suffering. So basically, when you live your life, you are in a cycle of suffering, and the path to overcome that suffering is what's called the Eightfold Path. To fulfill the Eightfold Path, you have to have the right view, the right intentions, the right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, and right mindfulness. So this is the symbol for Buddhism. There's 8 spokes on this wheel, and they represent the 8 different parts of the Eightfold Path. It's called the Dharmakara, or the Dharma wheel. It's the most important symbol of Buddhism. And the Eightfold Path and this Dharma wheel are both representations of Buddha's first sermon, where he laid out these laws and put this Buddhist law and Dharma into motion. All right, let's talk a little bit about reincarnation. So on the left is a representation of the 6 realms that one can be reborn into. So people or entities are born after death, which we call samsara, which we saw in Hinduism as well. Individuals may recur repeatedly. A person doesn't necessarily return to Earth as the same every time. Rebirth does not necessarily take place as another human being, so one can be reborn into an animal. It can lead to existence in one of the 6 realms. And some of the realms that are represented in this picture and included in the 6 realms are the heaven, animal, ghost, and hell realms. So a little more on reincarnation. So whatever the new vessel, so a vessel is whatever a person's soul is entering into, whether that be an animal, plant, human, whatever the new vessel for one spirit will be. It depends on our former life's actions, or karma. So karma is action, work, or deed, and its effect on consequence. In Buddhism, one tries to achieve nirvana, which is the extinction of desire, hatred, and ignorance, and ultimately the end of suffering and rebirth. So the goal is to enter out of, or exit the cycle of rebirth, and so that you don't have to deal with suffering in life. Individuals that reach this level of enlightenment physically die and exit the cycle of rebirth. So the holy text in Buddhism, holy text in Buddhism didn't exist at first. Buddha didn't write down his teachings. He had all these sermons and preachings. He did not write them down, so they were passed down orally. And then 300 years later, his teachings were written down in what's now called the Tripitaka, which means 3 baskets. And I call it that because it consists of 3 main categories of text. So a Buddhist place of worship, this is called a pagoda. You can see on the sign there on the slide, it says the pagoda. A pagoda is basically just an elaborately constructed tower and was once used to hold relics of Buddha. Relics are like just representations of him, like maybe tiny statues or paintings, things like that. So this is another example of a pagoda. They can come in different shapes and sizes, but they all kind of have the like curved up rooftops stacked on top of each other. All right, so religious leaders. This is the Dalai Lama. He's the 14th Dalai Lama, which is the leading monk in Buddhism. His name is Tenzin Gyatso. For all you Avatar fans out there, Tenzin and Gyatso are monks on Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is where it comes from. They're named after the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is believed to be the reincarnation of all the Dalai Lamas, and that he has agreed to be born again to help humanity. All right, so other monks. These are pictures of other monks. Yes, they can be children, as you see in the picture on the right. Monks play a central role in spiritual and social matters. They are meant to work for the well-being of all. So that's the end of our lesson on Buddhism. Now I need you to do your practice assignment so that you can practice looking at pictures and identifying which religion is represented, and tell me how you know that religion is represented.